Okay, let's call this meeting to order. We have a full house today. We should have charged admission. I missed that opportunity for some reason. I don't know how I missed that. First, let me read this. We will go into closed session per KRS 61.810 1B, where deliberations or future acquisition or sale of real property by a public agency, but only when the publicity would likely affect the value of a specific piece of property to be acquired for public use or sold by a public agency. And the second reason, KRS 61.810 1C, were discussions of proposed or pending litigations against or behalf of a public agency. The first order of regular business would be the minutes as mailed to the magistrates. That's a May 3rd meeting. Any changes or corrections? We try to catch those at the pass here before we send those out to you. Otherwise, entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion to approve.
I have slim pickings today, so
Yes,
motion been made, second by Jeff. Any further discussion? All approve, say aye.
Aye.
Disapprove? Motion will carry. Jeanette, let me back up just a little bit. Please note the two magistrates are absent. Magistrate Metcalf and Magistrate Shelburne. I changed the meeting date, so we had some conflicts on some scheduling because of the election. Next would be your bills list, additional bills list and transfers. I want to point out on the regular bills list, $2,080 to the county judge's office expense. I was teasing Rhonda about that, charging it to my office there, but that was a reapportionment services provided by Lincoln Trail, some preliminary reapportionment that the next court will have to deal with in 2023 because the legislators moved it from 22 to 23 because of the election process. Just preliminarily is going to help the next court and judge, and county clerk will be involved in that as well. So that normally wouldn't be an expense we would do it that far in advance, but it was good to have that information. And the general consensus, just so you know, is that there's not too many changes going to be required. I'll leave it at that.
I have one question. How is the first insurance a short renewal?
Because we're putting those together, we'll get Keiko to bid on it as well.
Okay, sounds good.
That was a good question.
Thank you.
We did an extension to July 1, and Keiko's is actually getting a quote on theirs. Should have that any day now. So we kind of combined it. Just so you know, our county insurances were split in when they built the Justice Center. The state pays 100% of that cost at the Justice Center, and so we try to keep those kind of separate for funding purposes because those come back to the county through a reimbursement program. Any other questions on bills, transfers? Otherwise, entertain a motion. Motion by Bernard Ice to approve bills and transfers. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Jeff. Question, Jeff?
Yeah, just quite a few transfers. Just year in.
Year in. Yes. Yeah. You probably have another little batch of them too later. All approve, say aye.
Aye.
Disapprove? The motion will carry. Thank you all. Now, we have guests with us today, the Kentucky Transportation District 4 office, Brad Bottoms and his team. I don't know who's going to make the presentation. You low man on totem pole today, huh? Josh?
Yeah, Josh Warnbeck, and I got here with me Brad Bottoms. Mark Russell stepped out for a minute. They got Chad Philly-Atcher and Gene Philly-Atcher, so if you got any questions, hopefully someone else will be able to answer them this morning. But we're here to discuss the rural secondary program for this year, and it's funded by 22.2% of the Northfield tax receipts, and these funds are allocated to all 120 counties based on a 5-point formula. And that is 1/5 is distributed equally amongst all counties, 1/5 is based on a rural population, 1/5 is based on road miles, and then 2/5 is based on land area. And once the money is allocated to a county, it's not transferable to another county. So this year, our first priority is the routine maintenance and traffic on our rural secondary routes in Nelson County. That estimated amount is $660,900. The second priority would be the county judge executive expense. It's the same for every county. It's $3,875. And then our first road that we'd like to resurface would be Kentucky 247 going from Kentucky 52 to US 31E, about 4.3 miles with an estimated cost of $318,000. The second priority would be a section of Berber Road, be Kentucky 2735, going from Kentucky 46 to Kentucky 49, about 3.8 miles, $241,000 is the estimated cost on that. And we got another section of the same road going from 49 to 1.6 miles north of Tom Ballard Road.
That's actually Roberts Road, and a lot of folks will know that.
Okay. So the estimated cost for that would be $139,500. And then the last priority would be Kentucky 458, going from the Washington County line to US 62, 2.193 miles with an estimated cost of $173,000. As y'all know, the price of asphalt and fuel is going up, so we don't know exactly how far we would be able to get through this list. So we've broke them up into several sections, so they might have to, eliminate one or cut them short.
You got them in the priority for me. Court, any questions? I would need a motion to approve the state's list of rural secondary program. Motion by Bernard.
Everything's in first district.
That's what everybody's,
I ain't know. No, I say.
A second by Jeff, finally. All approved, say aye. Disapprove. Motion will carry. Josh, I have a list of the flex funds as well. We have the fiscal court to approve this list as well. You guys did receive a copy of that, the flex funds. Flex funds would be Motley Mill Road, and then Yates Cooney Neck. That's in Eric's district and your district. You didn't hesitate on that one, did you?
And Dean, they are a portion of those roads,
portion,
they're not entire roads.
Much needed though.
Motion's been made to approve, second by Bernard. Discussion? All approved, say aye.
Aye.
Disapprove? Motion will carry. I'll give you this list, take it back with you, and we'll send a copy to the,
Kevin Young.
send it to E-Town, not Frankfurt.
Well, however you normally do it.
I normally send it.
Frankfurt, I believe.
Yeah.
Y'all want to hang around or you?
Well, if you get any questions or anything, we can update.
I got nothing out there, but I got a question for you. Just had somebody ask about the dividers on 245 right in front of Five Star Chamber.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, the company there, the HEC, has a very difficult time making a left-hand turn into their parking lot. The trucks do,
The big stuff.
you know.
What are you
Just
talking
don't
about?
you tell him okay?
Well, we've talked about that internally with our traffic folks. They were going to look at pulling some of that divider, that turn out, a little pocket there. I'm not sure if that's happened yet or not.
I know what you're talking about, but I can see exactly what he's saying. I can't get the trucks.
We've also been talking with him as well about potentially relocating his entrance to across from Chambers Boulevard there at the signal. Now that'd be something he'd have to participate in on cost, but we'd be willing to work with him to accommodate that. But I'd check with our folks and see what that last conversation was.
Okay.
So, like I said, we had a crash history there at the Five Star entrance, so we were trying to address that, and, but I know it's caused some other issues as well, so we'll take a look at that, I'll get an update on that.
So Jeff, coming back to town from 65, they get the left-hand turn into HEC, is that right?
Yeah, those
I never
dividers.
paid this.
Well, I mean, if you drive by there looking, you'll just see exactly what he's talking about.
And Josh, another question, the magistrate's not here today, and I prepped you guys on this, was, is there any improvements going to be made on US 62 Bloomfield Road?
Based on, every year they evaluate all the FD05 routes, and there's nothing on the radar based on last year's evaluation. So some things, deteriorate faster than others, but based on last year's data, it doesn't look like it would get done.
They paved a large portion of it.
Yeah, we're paving currently now from Kentucky 55 back towards town to Stringtown.
Okay.
That'll be complete today.
Okay.
That 5-mile section complete. We also have on the radar, we got a June 30th completion to pave from 245 to Hill Street, right past Nelson County
Okay.
High School, the 3-lane section.
Well, that'll help. Yeah.
That'll get done hopefully next month.
Okay.
So those two sections, so there'll be a section from Nelson County High School to Stringtown that's not complete. It'll be, on the list as it comes out.
All right, thank you all. Anybody have other questions? We'll move on. Thank you, fellas. Okay, next would be an amendment to the ABC ordinance, correction of the wording. If you'll notice in that ordinance, we accidentally used PM instead of AM. I don't know who did that, but
I was the author of it.
I don't know if it was, I think it was under John Kelly's administration. He's not here to defend himself. So I need a motion to approve on first reading, advertise for a second the amendment.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Second. All approve, say aye. Aye. Disapprove? The motion carries. Thank you all. Okay, next order of business would be the internet service. Okay. And Brad's going to make a short presentation here, but then we'll on our June 7th meeting, we will take it up with the full court.
Okay, on October 19th of 2021, you guys approved us applying with City of Bardstown for a KIA grant. What I'm giving you is just an update on that particular project and process.
You know, there was one more here, Brad.
Okay. There's 10 roads listed that went into that grant that we applied for. Whiteside Road and Hibbs Lane is one build. Ashes Creek is another. Third was Highway 1066 Hawk Ridge. The fourth was Fairfield Road and Everett Hall. Fifth was Roberts Road, Wimpson Schoolhouse Road. Sixth was Jim Clark Road, North Road. Seventh was Icetown Road. Eighth was Nat Rogers Ice Road. Ninth was Holy Cross Jim Clark Road, and 10th was Vitito Ford. You guys have already approved this list. 4 of them that is highlighted are being contested, meaning we applied for a grant, there's another company that has indicated they serve that area. So we're pushing pause.
And have grant money
Yes.
to do it.
So it's logical to push pause on those 4 builds so that we don't have double grant money going towards an area maybe that's already covered by a different provider that may be funded under a different program. The other ones that are not highlighted in yellow that I talked about, we're going to proceed forward. That's just an update. There's no action needed on that. I'm just letting you guys know what's going on with that.
I have a question. If you're deleting these or...
Not deleting.
Add 4 more?
Not deleting. We're pushing pause until it's clarified who's going to serve that area, who's getting the funding.
Let's say, when it is clarified and we don't have to do it, will you add more roads?
I think we can take that money and identify some new roads.
I have
That's my next
I have
question.
one.
Okay, so that's my next process we're going to get into. And these are all roads that the City of Bardstown originally gave us a list on, Gary and Bernard. This is the remaining area that does not have internet out in front of their houses.
They're called passings. If you hear that term, passings.
So this is within the City of Bardstown service area that we're dealing with here. But they consider their area, and I'll read them out loud so everybody's got them. Harrison Fork, Greenville Ford Road, Lehman Ford Road, Bellwood Road, Hope Ridge Road, Stallert Lane, Tom Greer and Woodlawn Road, Tunnel Mill and Murphy Lane, Timber Creek Road, Love Ridge, Prather Ridge, North Stillwell Road, South Stillwell Road. So what we're asking for you guys to review, and I think it's going to get tabled today.
Yeah, we're going to pass it off to the next meeting.
Right, so it's for informational purposes only. These are the other roads that Bardstown indicates within their system that they do not have internet out in front of their houses. So what we're going to do is do a partnership, or we're requesting a partnership from you guys. That the City of Bardstown will put up a certain dollar amount every time they cross in front of a house. That's $1,400 that they'll put towards this, what they call a build. And then we'll pick up the remaining cost of it. And it's broken down for you guys in this spreadsheet. All said and done for those roads that I just listed, they're requesting $436,791 for the fiscal court's
The city's
participation.
putting up about $407,000.
That is correct. That goes past 291 passings is what they call
We would not
it.
get internet if we didn't have this federal money.
Correct.
Bottom line.
Bottom line. And the reason is it financially doesn't meet their model on enough people being on a road to service it. And our ordinance only requires, when it gets down to, is it 20? 20 houses per mile, then they have to serve it. Well, these don't even have that. So they would never get it unless you guys help participate in this, in my opinion. I mean, the city may do something, but I doubt it.
It's a good project. It identifies some tough areas to get to, and we got a partner in it, so I plan to, hopefully the fiscal court will approve this in our next meeting.
And that would be funded through our,
ARPA funds.
yes.
The list of ARPA funds that you gave us, we kind of itemized it out, remember?
Yeah, well, we've got-
Was this included on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was part of what we anticipated. Whatever, we actually have about 2.5 million budgeted, and that's a general budget. We've allocated about, what, 500,000 already?
Yes, 515.
On that other list you just saw. And so we'll have about 950 allocated. We still have about 1.5 left to go to spend. And we've identified some in the real tough areas of the south end as well. But we're waiting for Spectrum to, this has been a slow process since January. And getting Spectrum to finally come around, I think we've been able to accomplish what we're trying to set out to do.
Gary?
So,
Oh, go ahead.
any questions?
You said you
good
had a
project.
road.
Who's on here?
Okay.
Tom Greer, Woodlawn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I have no doubt, this is to get internet in front of people, right? Along the road. Everybody has to understand, it's in front of their, along the road. Just like the water lines, you gotta get it back to your house. That's not what this pays for. This pays for along the county or state road, whatever it may be,
Yeah, I
as
understand.
far as the field.
Yeah, it's a good project.
I have no doubt we'll come to you guys again, and then once we get it in front of everybody's house, we'll talk about what they call underserved areas, where the speed doesn't meet what they would technically call high-speed access. But let's get in front of everybody's house first, then we'll back up again, take a deep breath, and realize, okay, did we approach everybody? Did we get the south end taken care of? And if there's still some money left over, maybe we'll address some of the underserved areas and get them up to the speeds where.
Under the American Rescue Plan Act money, 200 something, I don't know what that, MGs or GMs or something.
Download, upload.
That's a minimum that you have to have.
Now, the state allocated in the state budget so much for the internet.
That's
access.
another.
I understand.
Yeah.
We're going to be getting some of that too.
Possibly, yeah.
And so what you want to do, the reason it takes a little while, and just like those 4 roads that I said we had to put on hold, there's all this money out there. Well, we want to make sure we're not what you would call overbuilding. You know, if one company said, well, we've got money, would you build it? Well, that would be not wise of us to throw grant money and overbuild if they're getting grant money to build it anyhow.
Yeah, let use their money for it.
Bear in mind, our franchise agreements with everyone is a non-exclusive,
Correct.
which means they can compete. But we don't want them to compete using government money 2 times there'd be like a duplication of services by the feds. And they're real stickler about that. That's why we've got the 4 roads contested right now.
Right.
Okay? Okay?
Yeah, that's the Jeff Bucking. So if we can take that up, Dean, at the next court meeting, I know the city is anxious about getting some of these moving.
And no more anxious than a few elected officials sitting beside me. Anyway, there's one sitting right beside me. Okay, next order of business will be the library appointment. I sent you an order. Dean McCullough, I think that's the way you pronounce that, Sharon, McCullough. Sharon was able to provide a little bio from Dean. I would entertain a motion to approve the appointment of Dean McCullough to the Library Board of Trustees. Motion been made by Bernard Ice. Is there a second to that motion? You got to realize I don't have much choice in here. Look at you guys. Jeff seconded the motion. All approve, say aye.
Aye.
Disapprove? The motion will carry. Thank you all. Next order of business will be the soil conservation report. Just for record only, no court approval necessary. Tom has, and Gail have graciously provided that. They've got a copy of it, Tom. And you have put a copy in your mail. Not, you can have that one for the record. Any comment you want to make? Sharon on library too? I forgot to ask you if you had any.
No, good morning. I'd just like to say that Mr. McCullough he came into the community 3 years ago.
His resume's a mile long.
I know. And I ran into he and his wife, and they said, we just moved to the community, and we really love this library. It's so welcoming. and we like to be involved.
Well, great.
And they have attended just about all of our board meetings over the last year, and when we recruited for board members, he put his resume in, and he's been very, involved, he and his wife both, in helping with our strategic plan, and good support.
Well, good.
And bringing ideas from Michigan and other areas. His resume is very strong.
And just to find someone that's real willing to participate with a real good heart to what you're doing
Right.
is very difficult in this day and time. No money involved, yeah.
Right, thank you.
Well, thank you. Tom?
I was just going to say, I'd like to thank the court for their support through the years, especially old Bernard. Bernard was on the court before we had a millage tax, and of course, in '96 or so, we went on millage tax. That's worked out awfully well. But Bernard was always supportive, so we'd like to thank the court for your support.
Very good, yeah, thank you. Northeast Nelson Fire District budget. You guys have a copy of that in your mail. Chief, each guy has a copy of that. I see Chief here somewhere, there he is. You want to make just a comment? No court action on it, just a matter of record.
Again, as Judge said, as the other SPGE, we are required to present that to you. I can give you an update. We have started construction on our Station 3 in Fairfield, 360 East Main, I believe. We were hoping to have that completed by mid to end July, but I don't think we're going to make that time schedule. We've had a few delays, so now we're looking at hopefully maybe 1st of September when that'll get complete. A little more excitingly to me is we've had a tremendous influx of volunteers in the last probably 3 to 4 months. Wow. Our roster is actually up to 33 persons, so we're pretty excited about that, and we're hoping to garner some more interest from that northwestern part of our response area once we get this station up and running. So
that sounds exciting.
Yeah.
Volunteers.
But they are hard to come by, and we've been fortunate that we've had an influx of really good candidates for firefighter level.
Some youth in that bunch?
Yes, yeah, a lot of those are younger firefighters. We've actually got 4 junior firefighters on roster now. So
Good.
we're very excited.
Good work.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And if y'all have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
That's good to me. Thank you. You got a copy of that one? Okay. Tourism budget. I don't think Samantha come up this. She asked me, and I can't remember if we talked about it. She needed to or not. But the tourism budget is probably a little bit more than it usually from years past. The motel tax revenue, just simply because we've got more available rooms, is up quite a bit, and so they plan to use some of that money for marketing reinvestment. And further, I think they up the grant programs they give to the local, I guess visitors were like the Railroad Museum, the Civil War Museum. They get a little money. Spalding Hall gets a little money. Stephen Foster Dom Association gets a little grant money. And that is something the fiscal court needs to approve. You guys have any questions on the budget? I hopefully sent that in advance so that way you had a chance to review it. The things that we always look at, the salaries didn't increase a whole lot, so that's what we always kind of look at. How they spend the money internally is more of their interest, not ours as well. A motion to approve the budget. Okay, motion's been made by Jeff to approve the tourism budget. Is there a second to that? Second by Gary. Further discussion? All approve, say aye. Aye. Disapprove? The motion will carry. That's something we do have to approve. Thank you all. Update on the budget process. We held first reading on our budget. The state has been a little slower this year in returning that budget before we could advertise for the second reading and adoption. We finally got it back yesterday, Friday. So in order to advertise that, we'll try to plan on June the 7th? Yes. June 7th to have a final reading. Okay? Road Department report, Lee.
Alrighty, I'm going to start with our mowing crew. We're currently in District 2. We'll probably take the rest of the week to finish up in that district. District 1 will be next. We have finished the first round of District 3, 4, and 5, and we alternate the districts each year so the same district doesn't have to deal with the tall weeds by the end of the first round. Would like to make a note, sometimes we get questions On that first round, we'll make one swath with the bush hog, unless it's an intersection. We do that so that we can get through fairly quick to help with sight distance issues.
Knock it down, yeah.
Then on the subsequent rounds, we'll start cutting back further as we go. Culvert, we had a few culvert replacements, Downs Lane and the Highway 245 intersection. Replaced a pipe on Pinehurst Drive and Cornish Lane. We repaired some culverts on Eddie Miles Road, Monks Road, at that intersection, and Stonehouse Road. Did some ditch work, 2500 area, Murray's Run Road, Clarktown Road, Wilkerson Road, Plum Run Road, and Rolling Fork Church Road. We rock shoulders on Walter Hall Road, Coon Hollow Road, Hilton Lane, Wire Lane, Sullivan Lane, and we're currently on Mobley Mill Road. We did some chip sealing on Quarry Lane. It's just a very small back section of Quarry Lane that's still hasn't been paved. It's chip sealed. And then we chip sealed the gravel section of Leonard Hall Road. We repaired a sinkhole on Glenwood Drive. We currently doing the drainage project on Ed Powell Road. We started that yesterday and doing that today. And a couple weeks ago, we had a few guys help with the tire amnesty program for a couple of days. And then we had 6 guys working on the voting machine setup and breakdown last week during the election. That's all I have.
Questions?
What you guys will find out, you'll see, Mago is sporadically starting to hit some of our roads that we've issued POs on. You know, they kind of scatter us in when they're not doing state work. So what you haven't seen, they've done Rosslyn, Allender, Old Town, Dugan, and Irish Ridge have been paved. Burnett, we've held Thompson Domes because of the logging operation until they're done. They still got to finish out Fogle and some of Haven Ridge. They got about half of it and got rained out. So yesterday it got rained out too. So
Anything in number 2 yet?
you did Potter Shop, Thomas Lane,
Potter Shop, Thomas Lane.
and then I'm holding Woodlawn Road for some more money.
Yeah.
But we can't issue that until we get the budget approved.
We got to approve the judge to come. We got to approve the budget first.
But it's good to get that approved, and once they do, like I said, you just never know. Mago, sometimes they'll have a half a day and they'll run and do some of this stuff for us.
What we can do, guys, next court meeting, once we have approval of our second reading and adoption of our budget, you might want to prepare your blacktop list going forward. And you guys, I think Brad's been working you guys on all
I
this.
need to do one more for you. But
Brad does a great job with that, appreciate that. Also, I'm sorry, Greg. Also on the OR Brent Potter Shop, you send somebody out there, I think
Yes,
Russell
we
maybe.
did.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
It's always a site distance issue.
Yeah.
It's
Site
a
distance.
steep hill, and the people that live there
Yeah.
don't maintain it, and so we took care of it.
Yes, Jim.
I'm just gonna say, he's only been in that chair half a minute, he's already working just more blacktop.
It's something about the chair, yeah. Something
I'm
about
gonna sit there next meeting.
Y'all got a long ways to get ahead of Eric. Eric's making daily trips up here. Let's do landfill solid waste report. John.
Just a quick update for Memorial Day. Our schedule will be off Monday. We'll be a day behind the rest of the week. Our tire amnesty, we had that. It was a very good turnout. At the landfill, what we did for bulk yard and pickup, we picked up and they hauled off 8 semi-loads. And out at the fairgrounds, they hauled off 10 semi-loads. So it's roughly 15 tons a load. So basically at the landfill, we saved $20,000 for that. And at the fairgrounds, around $25,000.
Wow.
So it's a very good turnout. Our force main sewer project, they're getting that wrapped up. The guys came back and basically they're doing any punch list stuff, cleaning up a few yards. We got just a few minimal complaints, a few ruts and seeding, so they get all that stuff wrapped up and cleaned up and finished.
John, tell them where you're at with the review of the state for our expansion.
Okay, so basically, the technical application is the last permitting phase for that. So basically, we submitted that, and I believe it's the second week of June is their deadline to get that back to us. So anytime in the next week or two, we should get those comments back. We'll address whatever we have. While we're doing that last phase of review for the state, we're also moving forward with our construction plans for the first phase. So we're looking at around 6.4 acres for that first phase. So hopefully we'll get those plans. I'll hopefully get a check set of plans to review this week.
We're really trying to push this so we can set this up so this particular court can deal with the bonding issue for the next phase that is complicated. So that's our goal. By the end of the summer, we bid it out, we know a price. Well, we know a price, we can get it bonded and then get somebody set up. So that's the push.
Just refresh your memory a little bit. What we're planning on doing is bonding about 50% of the cost of, maybe 50 to 60% of the cost of the project and funding the balance out of our savings. And that way it fits right into the operations very easily, like we did back in 1990, what, 8? 7? 6, yeah. Okay.
So once we get this final set of plans, then we'll be able to have more definite quantities, and we can start getting rock stone for our drainage layer, we can start getting landfill line, we can start getting pipe, we can start getting materials for it.
Yeah, and then you're gonna have some lead time on that stuff too.
Yes.
How many years a new section hold?
So roughly, we're about 1 acre a year.
22 years.
So this first phase we're designing now, we'll have a 6.4 acre and about 4 acre. So roughly 10 acres, so it gives us about 10 years.
But if it gets it approved, to answer your specific question, you're expanding probably 40 to 45 years worth of space.
Yes,
But
the whole project.
we'll build the cell.
Yes.
The main thing is the building it is not as complicated as getting the permits.
Yes. So we'll
Link-
have 40 plus acres permitted, which we will break it down to the first phase. So we'll have 6 acres for the first phase, but we'll have a design for another 4 acres. So roughly, with this first process, we're designing right now about 10 acres.
John will be very busy for the next year.
I guarantee you will.
Very, very busy.
Sounds good. Jail report?
As of this morning, we have 107 inmates, 40 are state inmates, 67 are county, had 50 wait for circuit court cases, 17 was district court cases, 88 males and 19 females.
Any questions? Okay, let's move on then to the EMS report.
EMS call report for April, 655 calls were responded to. Looks like we are on tap to be a record-breaking year again this year. We're at 6,228 calls as of April 30th. With 2 months left, we'll be well over 7,000 calls. We're averaging 20.5 calls per day for the year. Take care of it.
Okay, thank you. Recreation report.
So Derek didn't make it today, he's fighting the field, you know, these little rains cause him a lot of work on trying to get the baseball and softball fields
I'm sure he
together.
does.
Since we last met, you know, we kind of generally talked about a wilderness trail. We actually have that generally started and cut in. Pretty neat. He just needs to now, we're just going to use mulch for a bed. So we've worked with some tree people on bringing mulch out that they left over when they clean the trees up. We'll sprinkle that across. You know, it's supposed to be a wilderness trail, right? It ain't a blacktop paved scenario, so it's okay to go through the woods. That's part of the experience. So he's worked on that, and just, you know, he's trying to get set up where you guys approve the fence on the softball field to move it in so he can have these extra fields and the outfields that we talked about. Just a matter of getting people there to, it's like everybody, you know, everybody's busy.
Of course, Dean Watson in my district, I appreciate all the work that he's doing out there. You know anything about the ballpark at any upgrades on that yet?
Yes, we've sprayed for the grass in the cracks for the basketball goal or court. Derek's getting prices to reseal the basketball court and the tennis court just to preserve it. It is not breaking up or anything, it's just got the cracks in it. And then the basketball goals and stuff, Derek's going to replace the goals that need, and backboards that need to be replaced. Now the old playground equipment, we're analyzing that as well. That equipment's been there since the original park, I'm sure. The only piece I see that is really, to me, is pretty darn sturdy is the sliding board. It had one of those old slick sliding boards we had at St. Monica when I went to school down there. But it's still pretty firm and sturdy. I shook it and it's still pretty firm. So the rest of that will probably have to be removed. And We put a new playground equipment in there about 8 years ago or so, and Derek's going to remulch that as well.
Do we need a fence up to keep the vehicles out of the park?
I think you can do more than a fence. You can do something besides a fence.
Derek mentioned putting a post with cables.
Yeah, that's what we talked about doing, yeah.
Okay.
But it's a shame you have to babysit people like that and driving up on the court and playing basketball and stuff. But anyway, yeah, we are addressing it. It's in a list of things to do.
For some reason, sitting in this seat, that came out. I don't know why.
Yeah, Keith will be proud of you.
Yeah, I bet he will.
No other business then. Let's go into closed session, out of regular session as per KRS 61-810, 1B. Well, they're clearing up, they got the routine down pat now. Deliberations are future acquisition or sale of real property by a public agency, but only when publicity would likely affect the value of a specific piece of property to be acquired for public use or sold by a public agency. And closed session per KRS 61-810, 1C, where discussions, could I have some order, please? Discussions of proposed or pending litigation against or behalf of a public agency. Need a motion to approve. Motion been made by Bernard Ice, or second by Jeff. All approve, say aye. Aye. Disapprove, and motion will carry. Thank you all. Take about 2 or 3 minutes.
Heads up.
Okay, I'll wait to, you ready? Annette, you ready? Court, you ready? Ready. Okay, at this time, I entertain a motion to go out of closed session and back into regular session. Motion been made by Jeff Lear, second by Bernard Ice. All approve, say aye. Aye. Disapprove, and motion will carry. Next order of business would be asking the fiscal court to authorize the county judge to sign a deed and all papers necessary to transfer property and sell property to Bardstown Bourbon Company, roughly 24 acres on Parkway Drive, a part of our Nelson County Industrial Park. Need a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Gary. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Jeff. Discussion? All approved, say aye. Aye. Disapprove? The motion will carry. For the media, this is a piece of property that doesn't have any infrastructure to it, no water, no sewer. Bardstown Bourbon Company plans to use this to build a couple of warehouses. And in the interim, until they have actually bought a farm that joins this property on the other side of the creek, and they will be expanding their operations there, the warehousing there as well. The price per acre is $17,000 an acre. Obviously, it doesn't have any infrastructure. It would have normally been about $25,000 or $26,000 an acre.
24 acres.
You're right at 24, just a hair short of that. Approximately. About a tenth short of that, probably. Okay. Motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn. Second. What, you're getting worse than Metcalf. Second by Jeff. All approve, say aye. Aye. Disapprove. The motion will carry. Thank you all.